She didn't want to be with him because she didn't want him to teach her son how to disrespect women. Yet what she's doing is disrespecting herself on a regular. This whole podcast, she totally disrespects herself. And so you don't think your son's gonna eventually see that one of these days? From the first time to this time? I mean, she needs to stop this shit, man. She needs to stop this shit. But I'm looking forward to see Love follow along in the podcast. I only watched so much of it, but I'm gonna hold the rest of my opinions.
As a matter of fact, to add to that real quick, she talked about how she doesn't want her son to be around him to be disrespectful towards women. You've been talking for the better part of the last 2 years, slanging all types of shit about this man's father. What has he said about you? Publicly, he has not disrespected you one time, not once. But you dogged your son's father out openly.
And Sweeney, she had the nerve to say, "I'm the only one up here that's gonna talk shit about him."
Exactly. It's wild, bro. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. So just a couple of thoughts on this. So it's very interesting that I hear this because really what we think about her is what she said about herself. If you guys remember, she did a video. I don't know if this was a TikTok or what have you, but she did one where she talked about how NBA players and NFL players were stupid, right? So she set up, it's like she followed the baby mama blueprint and then got upset when people treated her like the baby mama from the blueprint that she followed. She got with a guy, an NBA basketball player who didn't have life experience. He got her pregnant. You know, they broke up. She filed child support, ran to social media. She followed the baby mama blueprint. And now that people are seeing that and they've attached that to her, now she wants to be the villain. But I know what it is. When women are hurt, women think that hurt justifies bad behavior. And for some reason, when their feelings get hurt or their choices don't pan out and give them the results that they want, then they go back and it's how everybody is painting them. And it's like, no, ma'am, you gave everybody the colors, the paintbrush, and the canvas. You can't be mad at the picture people have when you gave them the tools to draw you from based off of what they see. So I think that's what we see in this case. People have a narrative that she created.
She's her own worst enemy. Unfortunately, she's her own worst enemy. And she created her avatar villain herself from the very beginning. We all paid very close attention to when Brittney first came on the scene, what was she talking about mainly? What type of spaces was she in? What type of people she was aligned to, right? She was always around the rappers and the ball players and the celebrities, right? And one of the things that she always talked about was how stupid some of these guys are and how easy it is to come off these guys. And if she wanted to, this is what she would do. And she laid out a blueprint. She went from podcast to podcast to radio show talking about this, right? So you've already kind of coutured this sort of insight about you in your mindset. And people gravitated towards that. And as time went on, people started to kind of paintbrush on top of everything that you put on social media, where you talked about the experiences that you've had with these said named individuals, right? And that has created this narrative about you. Even when she was dating PJ Tucker, a lot of people were like, she was kind of redshirting the kid when he was young, right? Because she was at the games, and it just seemed like she was kind of plotting on him, right? And she really thought that she could kind of convince this young man into a serious monogamous relationship, right? Well, she never been in a serious monogamous relationship. She's been riding the cock carousel for the last better part of a decade. And she hasn't self-improved. Not even from that interview with KS that she did. She didn't take much from that. At first she did, but then slowly she kind of gravitated back towards what she knew best. And this is the part that it strikes me weird. And I really want to speak to the masses about this. How could you participate in the non-monogamous culture year after year, decade after decade, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you flip the switch on and you want a monogamous relationship from somebody from one man. How does that work? I cannot wake up tomorrow and want to enter into the Olympics and want to participate in the 400 run. I haven't done any of the work to prepare myself or even be qualified. And so she wants a specific sort of outcome for her life. But unfortunately, she's already created this monster that she no longer controls. Everybody out here in the social media space controls that narrative. That's all I got.
You know, what's real interesting to me is, you know, just kind of piggybacking on Luis a little bit. She is her worst enemy. She is the villain of this story because, again, she has been going from podcast to podcast, telling her story, or at least telling multiple versions of the story that have varied in every situation, just to make her look good in the situation. I mean, I remember not too long ago when she was on podcast talking about that, you know, she won't submit. She won't submit. She can't submit. You know, she can't really, you know, she says she attempted that lifestyle, but she just can't. And the other thing about it is that, dude, she got dude when he was fresh into the league. I mean, like, what was he, like 19 years old, 20 years old when she got with him? I mean, fresh into the league, just got his big check. And she's, you know, quite a few years older than him too. So I feel like she was definitely plotting on him by far. Like I mean, just if for people that don't know, you know, everybody that's been keeping up with Brittney Renner these past few years, and then when she got with him, everybody looked at him like he was Bozo the Clown. They're like, wow, you're galling her up? Really? Her? Of all the women out here, you getting the one who's giving the playbook to all the women on how to be a rich baby mama. You're galling the one who's out here bragging about all the dudes she's been with. You know, all the rappers, all the ball players, all the celebrities. Like, that's the one you choose to gal. And yet she does have a lot of, you know, blue checks in her DMs and whatnot on the regular. But I mean, clearly that's just for one thing. No one wants to really court her. No one wants to really be with her. And she admitted that when she was on, you know, Kevin Samuels' podcast. She was on there with a few other people. I know she was on one of the podcasts with Andrew Tate and those guys. And she made it sound like she was a changed woman. Like she was, you know, looking at the world from a different perspective, eyes wide open. You know, she even sat down with Deion Sanders and his team when he was at Jackson State University and gave them the playbook on how not to get got by these women out here. A lot of the tricks and the hoes that are trying to get them for their money, and put them in a bad space, in a bad place. So it sounded like she was turning a corner, but then, you know, Old Faithful just came out, you know, with all the craziness and the twerking and all the other things we're going to see soon. So